people dream of success, while others wake up every morning and make it happen. And on this show, we're committed to helping you make it happen. You're welcome. This is the Meet Your Mentor TV show, and it's good to be back here sharing with you experiences, skills, and knowledge needed to build a good career. My name is Daniela Sariedu, and I'm your host. We're coming to you from the Central University Mataheko campus. I'm excited to be sharing with you who I'm speaking to today, but after this break. You're welcome back. My guest for today started as a simple salesman, and today he's the Commercial Director for FanMilk, which we all love, and in a senior leadership position that oversees all the sales activities of FanMilk in Ghana. Last year, he was adjudged the Marketing Practitioner of the Year by the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome my mentor for today, Mr. Edwin Amoako. Hello. You're welcome. Please. Mr. Amoako, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity.
Always welcome.
Awesome. Would like to find out, what background did you come from and what were your educational experiences? Interesting.
So, talking from a background, I would like to start from the family. I come from a family of, let's say, 3 kids, and I am the first boy amongst 2 girls. I'll say it's an ordinary, typical Ghanaian family, very rich in love, not too much affluent, but there are basic principles that we cherished as a family. And it had to do with the fact that when you sow good, it's going to come back to you,
right.
And that you could actually love someone so much that a person would not be able to do bad. So these are some of the basic things that I grew up on from a family background. So when you talk about education, I've had quite a checkered educational background. I started off as a science student, wanted to be a doctor. And then I started my preparatory school in St. Martin de Porres, and then went through St. Martin de Porres and then went to Infant Swim School, the only school in Ghana, and then continued from there into Accra Polytechnic, where I studied accountancy. I had my HND in accountancy there, and then went on forward to do some courses in GIJ and the African University College then, and also did my BSc in Management with Computing from Regent University, and then I have now an MBA in International Marketing from Staffordshire University in the UK.
Okay, I understand when you say you had a checkered education, because I'm listening to you and I'm wondering, how did all of these, because you did a bit of journalism here, a bit of science there,
yeah.
How did these lead you into marketing? Because the only thing I'm hearing marketing related in your education was your master's.
Yes.
So then how did all of these lead you here?
So when you look back, I'm sure one day people will look at it and think it was a very carefully planned educational program. But actually it was, I'll call it quite a hunger for knowledge. Okay. And also a little bit of direction that was set off a little bit earlier in my life, and I'm very grateful for. So after my secondary school education, I had the opportunity to jump into an internship, or let's call it a vacation job.
Okay.
So after secondary school, or in secondary school, my ambitions was to be a doctor. And then I had the opportunity to get into working and realize that, did I really want to be a doctor, or I was just fascinated by the thought of being a doctor?
Right.
So then when I got into this setting, I think I recalibrated my thinking and realized that maybe my calling and my purpose is really towards the business, marketing, and not necessarily in medicine. But a good part of it is that all of the education that I've had, I think has all found its way into a very nice melting point, where today I can talk from sciences all the way through to business, and I'm comfortable with both. So that is how it has panned out. But from the beginning, trust me, I wasn't sure.
Right. What is it about marketing you love?
So I think we may have to look at it from this way. I think basically I've always been a people's person. If you take a critical look again once through my education and through my career, you realize that with every institution that I'd been in one sort of leadership, people leadership in one way or the other. And it has been quite interesting because right from Accra Polytechnic to all the other campuses or the schools that I've been in, I was interacting with people when I found my comfort zone, trying to meet people's needs and make them happy and speak to them often. So I thought, of all the career paths, which one would give you the best exposure to people, trying to design something that they want, converse with them frequently, meet consumer needs, and I thought it all sat very nicely in the marketing field. So I think that is what actually gravitated me towards that calling.
All right. Can you take us through your professional journey?
Okay.
Right after, from your internship. Right from there, your professional journey. Help us through it. Yeah,
so that's also another interesting thing. I hope I have enough time to take you through it, but I'll try to make it brief. So I started my professional journey through this vacation job that I started. I think I was just about 18 then. So I joined this company. It was called Parry & Co. They were the sole brokers of Starkist Tuna and some other brands, Teacher Mackerel, Sunset Rice. And I started as a warehouse officer. So it was quite interesting moving from Infanspim, where you were prefect, you really were cool.
Yes.
And then you went into the warehouse where you had to deal with carry boys and kayayos and stuff. It was quite a very humbling experience for me, but it taught me a lot of things about how to engage with people and win the hearts and the hands of people. Right. So after doing a little bit of warehouse job, I got into what we call order processing, because I identified a need of how you could get products to the customers early enough without causing delay, because when you lose time, you lose money.
Yeah.
So I did that for some time and then found my way into marketing. How did I find my way into marketing? One of my ethos is that if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So one day, one of the marketing guys in the company had resigned, and I went to my boss and said, I want that job. Can you give it to me? I had no clue in marketing. I had not studied it as a course in any school, but I went to him and I dared to ask. And he said, yes, okay, I can take you in, and then you hide under someone's wings and learn. So that is how I got into the field of marketing. So I did the sales and marketing executive for some time, moved on into what we call media and events in the same company, and then also had the opportunity after I think 8 years to join Nestle Central and West Africa. In Nestle Central and West Africa, I was recruited as a brand manager for Ghana and Nigeria, where I also worked I think about a year, and then moved on into what was a very new creation called innovation and renovation. This is where in Nestle parlance, you actually determine what a consumer wants and then convert it to a product and then launch it in the market. So I did this also for some time, and then after some time I really asked myself, am I just meant to be selling food or I can do something else? Because I had done food for I think almost over 10 years. So then I ventured into telecoms, where I was part of the launch team of Surfline Communications. I worked with them and we launched this brand, which I'm sure most of you remember. It came with a lot of pomp and pageantry. And then after some time, I was called back into Nestle to come and handle 3 countries for the dairy market, which was Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, which I also did for some time. And then being in milks and selling milks for some time, I had moved from ambient milk to frozen milk, and I got into FanMilk, and then that's what I'm doing now. Still food, yes. Yeah.
So you said something interesting, which actually was my next question. Did you ever find yourself in any position where you really were not prepared for, but you dare to pick it up, and you gave us an instance? And I'm asking this question because usually as young people who want to build a career, sometimes we dare to dive into the deep end by taking up an opportunity that you really are not prepared for. Maybe you're not experienced enough, but you find yourself in that position. How did you move on from there?
That's very interesting, because actually it happens. It's happened not just once, but quite often in my career. And I think that it actually matches nicely with one of the quotes that I love. It says, "A comfort zone is a very nice place, but nothing really grows there." Okay, so it's really when you dare to get out of your comfort zone that you really grow. When you keep on hearing the same thing over and over again, or doing the same thing over and over again, you don't really grow. So I have the mindset, or I've cultivated the mindset of being very receptive to things that are not comfortable, because I know that is the only way that we'll be able to expand your horizon. So I've had this not just in my career, moving from sciences into accounting and then into business, and I've also had it not just in my education, moving from sciences to accounting, but also in my career, where you just mentioned that I was awarded CIMG Marketing Practitioner, and now I'm doing sales. So it happens quite often, and that's something that I think is a mindset that needs to be cultivated and then encouraged, because it's only when you're out of your comfort zone that you grow.
Right. I know you've hinted at this, but what are the values that drive you? What are the values that drive your success? Great.
So I would narrow it down to about 3 key things. A lot of things drive me, but I'll narrow it down to about 3 key things. I mentioned in the beginning, and I mentioned it from my upbringing. Humanity is very key. I always ask myself, you need to do unto others what you want others to do unto you. But there's a higher level within that is called inspiring humanity. But that usually would come out when you become a leader, or you are a leader of even a small group.
Right.
Number 2 for me is teamwork.
Okay.
We cannot underemphasize or overemphasize the need for teamwork, because every team is as strong as their weakest link. Did you know that Usain Bolt is considered to be the fastest person in the world right now, right? He holds the 100-meter sprint record.
Right.
But do you know that Usain Bolt in the quartet for Jamaica actually runs faster than when he runs alone? So Usain Bolt runs, I think, approximately 9.58 seconds. But when you combine the 4x4 team of Jamaica, they run, I think, approximately 36.8 seconds. That means that individually, they run 20 seconds more than Usain Bolt. But he doesn't know this, or he doesn't operate like this when he's running alone. Yeah. So you cannot overemphasize the power and the relevance of teamwork. And then number 3, for me, would be what I call grit. Grit is something that is born out of a doggone belief and sticking to something till it ends. Okay. You know, most of the time you start something, you keep going at it, a couple of challenges come, and you say, that's kind of stuff, it's okay. And you're here, living legend. Yeah, you know, it's like that. But really, it's about sticking to something, forgetting about talent. It's not just about talent. Talent is good, but grit is better. Talent is when things come to you naturally. Grit is, I will make this work, come hell or high water. Right. So for me, these are 3 things: humanity, teamwork, and grit. They inspire me most in all the things that drive me.
Wow, thank you very much for sharing that. It is the dream of every young person who's beginning a career to, you know, start something and rise through the ranks. But I'm very sure that you would tell us that sometimes that's not how it goes. Yeah. If you were speaking to anyone, and you're definitely speaking to a lot of young people who are beginning their career, what would you tell them? Yeah,
I would tell them, and looking back at everything that has happened, I would tell them, I think I'll give them 3 nuggets. Okay, these are not special. I'm sure you'd have heard of them before, but let me give you my perspective. One of them has to do with sacrifice. Okay, sacrifice. Nothing comes unless you go and fetch it. You need to let something go for you to acquire something, be it knowledge, be it wisdom, be it excellence in something that you do. You need to let something go. But sometimes it feels as if the young people of today, I'm not too sure whether it's because we live in a fast food, fast cars, microwave, everything is fast. Not everybody likes to really sacrifice. And I'm talking about a kind of sacrifice where you want to do that job, but you are willing to go there and work there even when you are not going to be get paid, because you want to understand what it takes to do that. Very few people do that. I see it quite often that a lot of young people, when I talk to a lot of them, have this entitlement mentality. I finished my degree, so when I come, you have to give me 5,000 Ghana cedis. Really? Really? It doesn't come like that. It's really more about, it's not about the time you spend on the work. It's about the value you bring to the time you spend on the work. Okay. So what have you acquired that you are bringing to that time that should allow that people to give you that money, or that person to give you that money? And that should only be done when you sacrificed, when everybody else was relaxing. You were trying to learn how to do that particular thing. So sacrifice is one thing. The other one that is also very important for me is integrity. Okay, this is something that once again you heard. And I dare borderline on or I clearly distinguish between integrity and morality, because sometimes people will think that, oh, yes, I am religious, I go to church, so I have integrity.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Integrity is being able to say X and do X. If this is what you said you are going to do, make sure you do it. Can your friend say that if Edwin says he's going to come here, if he doesn't come, then something really went wrong. So it's about integrity. And I think the last thing that I would mention on also, has to do with this. It's actually borderline between what I call sacrifice and apprenticeship. The need for you to really try and learn something on your own is so key, especially in this kind of environment where things are changing and people are evolving, and there's 1,000,001 ways that you can learn something. At first, to be an apprentice, you needed to go and study under someone. Today, to be an apprentice, you can actually even learn from YouTube.
Yeah.
What are you using your data for? Good question.
What are you using your data for? Well, if you haven't picked anything at all from this first part of the conversation, sacrifice, integrity, definitely what are you using your data for? We'll be right back. You're welcome back. This is the Meet Your Mentor TV show. I've been interacting with Mr. Edwin Amoako, who's the Commercial Director of FanMilk. Once again, thank you so much for allowing us to do this. Now let's talk a bit about FanMilk. We cannot even forget about FanMilk even if we wanted to. You know, you're constantly on the top of our minds, constantly bringing out new products, virtually in our faces. What drives your team to success? How do you do it, basically?
Yeah, so I think it's a number of things. FanMilk as a brand has been around for over half a decade. No, actually, half a century.
Okay.
We've been here since independence. And it's really been in the faces, and we all grew up on it. Actually, when I had the opportunity to join the team, one of the things I asked myself is that, can you really do anything different to this brand, since we've all been cutting yogurt and eating half when we were kids?
Yeah.
But we as a team, actually, there are a couple of things that drive us. One of it is hinged in our vision. Our vision is One Planet, One Health. FanMilk belongs to a company called Danone, and One Planet, One Health is the underlying factor or the underlying vision that fuels everything that we do. One planet means that we know there's only going to be one planet, so everything that we are doing, we see how we are environmentally sustainable.
Right.
And then number two is the One Health, meaning that, look, we only have one life. So the products that you are bringing out, is it quality? Does it have the right nutrients? Is it going to do good to people? And that is underlying in all of our innovations and things that we do as a company. Number two, in terms of the teams, there's a very unique bond and relationship that comes with the team. And I would link this to one question you asked earlier about the why and not the what. The reason why a lot of people, including myself, work for FanMilk is that, how does it help me achieve the purpose of why am I here? Why am I doing marketing? Okay, I want to do marketing because I want to put smiles on the faces of people. I want somebody to taste the product and really be happy. When I'm driving all the way through town, I want to make sure that the ecosystem, from the vendor, the guy sitting on the bike doing that poppy, is he happy? The guy or the mother who stops and buys that FanMilk for the kid, is she comfortable that she's giving the most nutritious thing for the kids? My agents, the people in the trade, are they happy that they are working or associated with a brand like FanMilk? The why actually fuels a lot of the things that we're doing. And the why is that we are bringing a lot of fun and we are actually impacting our generation. We came to meet a brand that was FanMilk. We've lifted it up a little bit. You all can confirm that now you see a lot of things that are different with FanMilk. How do we keep on adding value to the brand that we came to meet? So this actually fuels a lot of the camaraderie that is in the people who work in FanMilk. And sometimes when you get there at about 11 p.m., you still see people working as if they don't want to close. It's because they really enjoy the work they do and that they keep on giving of their best. So I think this is the magic.
Right.
That's what is doing the magic.
Awesome. I'm sure that in your position, you work with a lot of young people. I'm sure you're on the panel that employs people as well. What would you say you've observed about young people's attitude to corporate life? You've hinted at it. You mentioned that it looks like we're in a fast space,
Yes.
you know. But aside that, what have you observed about young people's attitude to corporate life?
I think one of the major things that I'll call out two. One of it that really, really irks me is the entitlement mentality. I cannot overemphasize it. And it's not because young people don't deserve it, but it's because you really need to spend time to master your craft as a young person for you to expect a lot of things from corporate. Corporate is not an easy place to be in. So if you really want to come in, you really need to master the ability of what value are you bringing and how can you do that. And now more than 10 years ago, there's so much that you can add to yourself. There's so much that you can add to yourself than just that degree when you go for an interview. And when you are asked, okay, so why should I pick you over that Central University person or that Methodist University or Ashasi graduate? It's because of that extra that you did. You have the unique ability to stand on the shoulders of giants because almost all the mistakes have been done in the past. But the question is, are you trying to stand on the shoulder of the giant? Or because if you want to stand on the shoulder of the giant, literally, the giant will have to let you stand on the shoulder.
Yeah.
But I don't think people really understand that you need to convince the giant to let him or her let you stand on the shoulder. Then you can see far. Then you can go further than your dad. Then you can go further than the uncles. Then you can go further than some of us. We have just begun though. We are not yet stopped. So it's very important that entitlement mentality is checked and you really consider how you add value to yourself. And to add to that, I think there's also the need for us to be hungry for knowledge. Hungry for knowledge because currently knowledge really does abound. It does abound in all facets of life. How are you taking or consuming everything else that is going on around you into that one melting point? Because somebody who is knowledgeable always thrills the people that they are speaking to, because you can speak from archaeology to zoology. How do you make sure that you are knowledgeable enough and you are consuming the right things that is going to help you in your career or help you in your next step? So if there are two things that I would say to them, I would say yes, please tone down on the entitlement mentality and ask yourself what value you are bringing to the table. And then in bringing value, you need to seek knowledge. Be hungry for knowledge. Don't stop.
Amazing. I'm sure that in your entire journey, you know, you've had certain moments where, I wouldn't call them failures, but, you know, moments where you felt that you could have done better, or you didn't get the results that you really wanted to get. I'm sure that you've had such low moments in your entire journey. Can you share those with us?
Yes, I think I can share a couple. But actually there's another quote of mine that is very interesting. It said, you need to learn to treat both failure and success as visitors, because they all come and go.
Right.
You know, today you are up, tomorrow you are down. And then there's also another one that has to do with success. Failure actually is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success, because it is only when you dare to fail that you eventually succeed. So when I hit failure, or what we call drawbacks, what I do is to really ask myself, what are the lessons in there that I can pick? And pick up those lessons, brush myself, and keep going. Because if you don't fail enough, trust me, you will not succeed. Okay. Now, what are some of the failures that has hit me? I'll give you one typical one, and this everybody that I went to preparatory school would remember, and I'm not shy saying it because it was quite a very down period. So once upon a time, I was very afraid of mathematics. I'm so scared of mathematics that look, the mere thought of the teacher was like, I just hate the subject. I remember one time we wrote an exam, and in a class of about 39, I scored 9%. And the teacher actually called me in front of the class, and he really humiliated me. I was very livid, but he humiliated me. And the funny thing was that all the other teachers within the school knew I was doing very well in their course. So then the question was, what was it with this mathematics that I was just not being able to crack it? Yeah. But then again, I didn't know all the quotes that I said. But then the reality was that if I dedicated a little bit more time to mathematics, maybe I could do better. Suffice it to say, by the end of the time when we wrote our exams in my school, I was the only boy who had all A's. And I was able to crack mathematics too, because that was the only down period.
Right.
Okay, so that's one of them. And the other one comes with work. Actually, in your professional career, you would fail, trust me, a lot of times. You would fail a lot of times. And there are times that you want to achieve a target, you want to be able to meet a deadline, and you will not be able to make it. But how do you learn from it and build on it? I've introduced a lot of products that are still on the Ghanaian market together with my team. Not all of them succeed. Some of them go out. But today I'm happy whenever I walk onto the shelves and I see products that I have a hand in. So yes, there are some failures, but there are also some successes. So it's all about how you treat them. Treat them like visitors. They come and go.
They do come and go. If you had the opportunity to speak to the 20-year-old Edwin Amoako, what would you tell him?
That's a tough one. Actually, I would tell the 20-year-old Edwin Amoako to enjoy the process.
Okay.
We get old quite quickly, you know. And yeah, I'm not saying that I'm that old. I'm still very young, but you really do get old quickly. The time flies. You end up doing one thing or the other, and before you realize, bam, you are married. Bam, you have kids.
Yeah.
Bam, you are calling you grandpa. Bam, you cannot bam again. And then that's actually very interesting, because the reality is that time will never be enough. You would never have enough time. But if you learn to incorporate fun in everything that you are doing, you will not get tired. You enjoy it, and you always look back with nostalgia and say, yeah, I remember those days. It was hard, but yeah, I had some good fun. Yeah. So I'll tell the 20-year-old Amoako to have some fun, and then enjoy the journey, because it's all about enjoying the journey.
Right, and that's really important, because Charlie, problem no dey finish.
No dey finish. That's true.
We'll take a couple of questions from our audience.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, what has been your greatest fears, you know, in your life and everything? There has been setbacks, but then you kept on moving on, and then you are who you are today. So what has been your fears? Because as we are growing now, you know, we also face challenges, but sometimes you find it difficult to overcome them. So what can you advise us to do to keep moving on?
Yeah, that's actually quite a good question, because I think one of my greatest fears has become my greatest motivation. And it may sound mundane, and as a student, I've been a student before. It's the fear of inadequacy. Have you ever been walking by the street and maybe waiting for a trotro or taxi, and it's raining, and you tell yourself, the day I buy my car,
yeah.
The day I buy my car, yes. Now let that car, the image of that car, stick in your head and say, what do I need to get there? Every day, wake up, whatever you want to get, have a picture of it, put it by your bedside. Whenever you are going to sleep, look at it and say, this is what I'm going for. Because when you can picture it, it becomes constant motivation for you, and you keep going at it. You'll be surprised. The day you get it, you even forget that was the thing that you were asking for a couple of years ago. So learn to convert your greatest fears into your motivation, and then I'm sure it will work. It has worked for me. I haven't gotten everything yet. I'm still chasing it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amoako, for giving us the opportunity to do this. You shared with us some really interesting nuggets, and what I need to do is to go back and listen to this show and write things down for myself, and we're grateful that you shared it with us. Thank you also for doing the viewing at home. This has been the Meet Your Mentor TV show. My name is Daniela, and we're being supported by Cheesy Pizza. My makeup was by Noddy's Makeup, and we came to you from Central University, Mataheko campus. Thank you so much for allowing us to come into your homes and sharing these stories with you. We'll come your way same time next week with another riveting conversation. My name is Daniela Asaridio. Until then, take care.